Welcome to 5-4 Fighting. We finally get to talk about the new hockey season. The NHL is up and running for its 21-22 season.
I'm Ryan Lacker.
And I'm Chris Lynch. Let's get into the ongoing circus of Evander Kane. Not a happy topic, but we have to start here. A 21-game suspension issued for the San Jose Sharks star left winger, one of the longest suspensions in the history of the National Hockey League. His crime? He faked his vaccination card for the COVID-19 vaccine. He's been the subject of an ongoing series of litigations regarding possible domestic abuse and gambling addictions. Throw on to it this suspension, his 7th in the National Hockey League. And so, Ryan, how long do the Sharks put up with all of this?
He's a good player, and good players get a rap for being around if they perform. But if you can't even have him on the ice to perform, why keep him around? I mean, I just think it's not promoting the right message to the culture or anything, and I think you move on, you look to move on this season. If you can, eat up some of his contract, get a couple prospects back, but don't expect much from a guy with this kind of background and this history in the league.
You think anyone actually is going to bite and try and take him up and try and get that value and that salary from him?
I mean, there's always somebody looking for good players out there. Case in point with Tony DeAngelo and the whole fiasco that he had with the New York Rangers, now moving on to the Carolina Hurricanes after having his contract bought out over the offseason. So you never know. There's always a team out there looking for someone in his position.
Well, ain't that the truth? That talent really is the thing that wins out over everything else.
Makes the world go around, Chris.
Ain't that the saddest truth in the world?
All right, well, let's hop over to a little bit of happier news. ESPN on NHL is back with a 7-year, $400 million contract. You can now stream all of your favorite NHL in and out of market games on platforms such as ESPN, ESPN Plus, Hulu, and NHL Network.
What a great collection of talent that's going to be in studio calling these games. For the ESPN side of things, with Bucci on one of the calls, Sean McDonough, who was one of the play-by-play voices in 2004 when ESPN last had it, and also Leah Hextall, who fans of college hockey will remember Minnesota Duluth and North Dakota, which was one of the best games ever, and she actually is the first female play-by-play voice for a major television network for any of the 4 major team sports. Not talking on a local level, talking on a national level there.
And not to mention the all-star lineup of analysts that they have, including Mark Messier, Chris Chelios, Rick DiPietro, and the great one himself, Wayne Gretzky. You could make an all-star lineup on this team, Chris.
Oh, you can make a Hall of Fame team off of that collection of people. It's some of the best hockey people you'll ever get and some of the best people that you could ever get. So we're in good hands as far as all that is concerned. And in those good hands, the newest National Hockey League franchise, the Seattle Kraken, they played their first game against the Vegas Golden Knights. I'm sure we'll show the clip of the pregame show of the Kraken trying to go against the Knights. By the way, this is some of the best stuff that you'll ever see.
Oh, every time Vegas gets the spotlight, they handle it with care. It's like going to a Broadway show every time you're in the arena. You've hit the casinos, you've hit the bars, now it's time to hit T-Mobile Arena.
It really is. It's really fun. And Seattle performed admirably there, only losing 4-3 in that game. They got their first win a few days later against the Nashville Predators on the road, another hostile barn that they went into and won and performed admirably. And a good job all around by the Kraken team, being respectable. Their uniforms look nice. Their logo is awesome. Then they're going to have a good turnout for when they actually start playing home games.
Yeah, so a couple of firsts for the Seattle Kraken. Obviously, first game played, and they got their first goal from forward Ryan Donato. And they've also named their first captain in longtime veteran Mark Giordano, previously with the Calgary Flames for the better part of his career, 15 years, and captaining them for 8 years, and now he's going to captain the Seattle ship.
Yeah, Giordano he's a Norris-winning defenseman with the Calgary Flames, a great player for them, and he's slotted in really nicely into this team as kind of an old man experience, but not old as far as, he's not Zdeno Chara old, and B, he's still a great hockey player as well.
Oh yeah, and he's definitely going to bring that veteran presence to this young team and look to lead them through all the ups and downs of a first season.
That's certainly correct. So, let's go to New York.
Let's bring on some of the local Metro teams. Let's start with the Atlantic team first, Buffalo. Where do you see their season going?
Trade Jack Eichel. That seriously, that is the number one point of concern for the Buffalo Sabres is you have a captain who is disgruntled, does not want to be there, and is not healthy. That's an organization that must blow this up and start all over. A successful season for the Sabres will be getting a good return for Eichel and being a team that people hate playing against, even though they don't have a lot of talent. I'm sorry, Sabres fans.
I consider this season a win if they don't come in last in their division. That's a huge win for the Buffalo Sabres, who have been at the bottom of the pile for years. Moving on to New Jersey Devils now with the Metro teams. Where do you see New Jersey in a very competitive division?
They'll be all right. They'll be all right. I want to see what Jack Hughes can do and if he can transcend into that next level from good player to star player, maybe even superstar player. I want to see him play like the number one pick in the draft. I love Jack Hughes' talent, and I think the season will go as far as he goes, to be quite simple. And Dougie Hamilton on the blue line is outstanding.
Do you see a playoff berth for them?
Maybe. They're on the outside looking in, but if things bounce their way, then maybe. They could make it.
All right, well, let's move on to their cross-river rivals, the New York Rangers, my personal favorites. And I think that they're going to make the playoffs just because I'm a fan. But where do you see them?
You are a great, great hockey fan, Ryan. Maybe. I don't know what Kaapo Kakko and what Alexis Lafreniere are going to develop into. I want to see what the young guys can do. I love the goaltending tandem, I will say. That thing I do trust firmly.
Can't be beaten. And what about the New York Islanders, the darlings of the Metro in the last couple of years? Where do you see them going?
So Islanders fans, ignore the first two games. Ignore them. Tough road games, tough places. You're going to open up your brand new shiny arena. You're going to work in your new pieces. You're probably not going to be first in this division because Pittsburgh will be at the top of it. But
that's a hot take.
But they still have Crosby and they still have Malkin and they're working in players like Drew O'Connor out of Dartmouth College who have been just really solid in their early games. So they'll work that in. That'll go nicely. And the Islanders will probably not win the division outright, but they'll make another run and I could see them going back to the conference finals for a third time.
Okay, I can agree with that. And so that's going to wrap up our show today. Thank you for joining us on Five for Fighting, and have a great night.